Exactly where the balance lies, well, this is the question of the art of meditation which we're trying to discover.
Or the one on his behalf deserves the very first spoon of the morning rice.
But before meditation, it is very hard to switch from the busy world.
When I go for meditation, it's holidays for myself, for my soul, for my inner self.
For today, we're going to be making a garland just like on our previous show.
Sawadee. Welcome to another edition of Meditation for All, a program aimed to help individuals achieve their goals in life through meditation. I am Sunanporn Rotjan and I will be guiding you through the program. Last time on our mini-series on meditation and self-development, we have already learned about the 5 sorts of demons which pose a great obstacle to our self-development. This time, we will get to consider the role of moderation in our self-development.
Welcome back to our mini-series on meditation and self-development. Last week we've already taken a look at 5 sorts of what we call little demons, which sometimes get in the way of our good intentions in self-development. This week we're going to be looking a little bit more at whether what we call moderation is really a good thing or not when it comes to our self-development. Because often we hear the words, moderation is good in all things. But what we find from our experience in self-development is that this is not always the case. So today we're going to be taking a look at exactly what is good in moderation and what things for which moderation may not be quite so applicable. Once we are endowed with our vision of self-development, what we find is that the sort of things which we are really needing for our self-development are the things which are going to improve the degree of virtue in our own lives. But in fact, moderation can be implied in many different things, even for meditation. If, for example, you drink too much water, then you may find that you're not able to sit for meditation for too long before you have to take a visit to the washroom. If you drink too little water, then you're not having enough refreshingness when you're meditating to be able to meditate well. So there's always a balance in everything. But exactly where the balance lies, well, this is the question of the art of meditation which we're trying to discover as a result of this part of the series. The problem with the sort of things we're talking about which concern moderation is not whether something is good or bad, but the extent of how much is appropriate for our meditation or for our self-development. The first group of things which I'd like to talk about are the things which you could say the more the merrier, which means that the more you do of them, the more beneficial it is for your practice. The first of these is the factor of compassion. This means that we have to control all the possibly unpleasant things which may come out of our body or out of our intentions, which may be the things which we say, the things that we appear to be to other people, the manners which we have, and not doing things to create the suspicion of others. If we are considerate of people in these ways, then what we find is that the more compassionate we are, the better it is for ourselves and the better it is for the world around us. The second thing, for which the more the merrier, is generosity. This may mean giving things to other people, but it may also mean giving things like our time, our forgiveness, our attention, teaching, advice. As long as it's out of compassion, then giving to other people is always something which is going to be more positive. The more generous you can afford to be, the better it is. The third thing which we should try to develop more and more is contentment with one's own spouse. Supposing we marry, that is, then we shouldn't have eyes for anyone else's spouse anymore. We shouldn't have eyes for anyone else, in fact. It's something which sounds easy, but in our modern world it seems to be becoming rarer and rarer. Often we say that we live in a throwaway society. In the olden days, if even a chair or a table was broken, people would go to the great efforts to mend that thing. But in the present day, we find that even with our families, instead of making the effort to repair the broken relationships in our families, we tend to start afresh, which is rather wasteful in terms of human resources, and it's also bad news for our own family stability as well. So this small factor of being content with one's own spouse is in fact very important. Again, the more the merrier. The fourth thing which we should try to develop more and more is also the quality of truthfulness or sincerity. It doesn't mean that you must tell other people everything you're thinking, but it means that the things that we do and the things that we do say, we ought to be doing to the fullest of our ability. They ought to be aligned with the things that we really believe in our lives. So if we can be sincere and true in everything which we do, then this is something for which the more the merrier. Last but not least is that we should be mindful. Anything which undermines our ability to be mindful or to have a good conscience about the things we're doing is something which we ought to avoid completely. We need to be more mindful if we are going to be a good meditator. And this is something which is not, again, a question of moderation. It's something which we should be trying to develop to the full. So for these 5 forms of behavior, it's not a question of moderation, but it's something which we ought to be cultivating to the greatest of our ability. It's said that there are 3 sorts of approaches to doing such good deeds like this. The sort of difficulties which we tend to come across when we try to do these sort of good deeds to the full. Some people, they know what is good to do in their lives, but they lack the morale to do it. And if this is the case, then sometimes we need to associate more with the sort of people who can give us the encouragement to fulfill all the good deeds which we'd like to do in our lives. There's some people who do have the morale to do the good deeds, but they don't have the opportunity to do them. Perhaps they have to work too hard, and they're not in an environment which allows them to do as many good deeds as they would like. In such a case, then you do need to divide up your time more strictly in order to give yourself the chance to pursue your good deeds, at least in an uncompromised way, more often than before. And if you have no other obstacles, like you have the encouragement and you have also the opportunity, the surroundings which allow you to do the good deeds, then you really should take that opportunity to do the good deeds to the full. So these are all examples of things which it's not a question of moderation for, but things which you should do to the full. So when we're talking about moderation, what are we really talking about? Well, this is rather like many of the things which we use as the basic necessities in our lives. For our own survival, we depend on as many as 4 different things. We depend upon our food, clothing, shelter, and also medicine in times of illness. These are things which, when we're talking about moderation, is very important to consider. For example, the small factor of food is something which we tend to underestimate, especially in the Western world, where obesity is a disease which is becoming rife in every country. Just being able to know the right amount of food to eat is often a big challenge for many people. According to our Buddhist technology, we say that to know exactly the right amount of food to eat, you should stop eating exactly 4 mouthfuls before you know you're going to get full of food. Why should that be? Because when you're eating, what you find is that there are another 4 mouthfuls of food which are already on their way down your throat as you are eating. So if you stop eating 4 mouthfuls before you're completely full, then that will be just the right amount of food to eat. But if you stop eating when you are already feeling full, then that extra 4 mouthfuls is already going to overfill you. So knowing moderation from the point of view of food will help you to know moderation in many other aspects of your life as well. What about moderation in terms of clothing? Some people have a different set of clothes for every day of the week. Some people never wear the same set of clothes twice. Well, it's said that if you want to know moderation in the clothes which you wear, then you should try to have sets of clothes which you can use on many different occasions. For example, a set of clothes which you can wear to a wedding and a funeral and to go to work in It's better than having a separate set of clothes for each one of these at different occasions. What do we mean by moderation when it comes to shelter? Some people like to have an extravagant house with many rooms, but if you ask if you enjoy doing the cleaning for the whole of the house, then you probably get the right answer for yourself, that knowing moderation and the amount of space which you really need is something which is going to help to free up your time to do more good deeds in your life. If you have a huge house, then the size of your mortgage will also be huge. You may find that you die before you've paid off all of your mortgage this lifetime round and leave the debts for your children or your grandchildren to pay off for you. And how about moderation in terms of medicine? There are some people, of course, who will not see a doctor in their own country. They have to go to Switzerland to see a doctor. On the other hand, there are those who never admit that they're ill until they get so ill that they are too serious to be cured anymore. So somewhere in between is the question of moderation in terms of the medicine which we use. These four requisites, food, clothing, shelter and medicine, are things for which the word moderation are very important. And if we can apply them properly in these four simple things, then it's going to be much easier for us to know moderation when it comes to more complex things. But there are things for which the principle of moderation really does not apply. And this can sometimes depend on our own personal weaknesses at any particular time. In Thailand, we have the expression that if you have a cut in your hand, then you cannot afford to handle poisons. Normally, if you pick up something like bleach in your hand, then it's not a particularly harmful substance because it cannot be absorbed into your own body. But at any time where you have a cut in your hand, then it may be something very dangerous for you to pick up in your hand because it will be absorbed directly into your body. In the same way, sometimes if we have particular weaknesses, then it may be advisable to avoid things which normally are no trouble for us. For example, normally you may be a very good-natured person. You'll be able to put up with annoying circumstances, but supposing one day you feel ill, you feel irritable because of that, if you meet up with the same circumstances, often you may find that it will upset you because you are caught off your guard by your sickness. So if you know that you are suffering from a particular weakness, then sometimes it's better to withdraw from the things which you may otherwise cause you to be upset or to lose your vision which you need for your self-development. These are known as the things which are only good up to the point of your own limit. Another scenario where moderation doesn't apply are for things which are particularly dangerous, things which are often addictive, and for which even a small amount of such substances or behaviors can make a big harmful difference to your life. Often we tend to overlook small things, but in some cases small things can be very important. You can try to understand this better if you look at the work of psychologists or historians or even detectives. Sometimes even small things can be telltale things which can make a big difference to the interpretation of a situation. Also for us, in certain cases, the things that we consume or the things which we do can be things which are very dangerous if they are in certain categories. These are applying for things like, for example, alcohol, where it's a common preconception that if you're not drunk, then it's okay to drink a little alcohol. I've even heard it said that it's okay to drink alcohol as long as you don't get violent. But in fact, that's not entirely the case. It's an oversimplification to think that there's no damage coming from alcohol until you start to become aggressive about it. In fact, the damage is already done to what we mentioned earlier, and that is our mindfulness, even from the time we start to think of drinking the alcohol in the first place. So some categories of things, especially if they are addictive, things like drink, drugs, even laziness, or getting so preoccupied with things like entertainment or gambling that we forget to do our work anymore, these are things which we cannot afford to overlook, and they are things which are not good in moderation. They are not good at all, in fact. And they are things which we shouldn't touch with a barge pole. They're things which we ought to distance ourselves from as much as possible, and distance ourselves even from the people who are involved with them. There are some things which really they are not, on the face of it, common sense, but which are sometimes so dangerous that we cannot afford to be mixed up with them at all. Think, for example, of the example of a child which is playing around with an electricity socket. Sometimes we might think that it's good for the child to learn from its own experiences Maybe they will get a new bit of knowledge if they are electrocuted. But in fact, this doesn't add up, because if the child is harmed by electrocution, then they're not going to have any chance to learn anything anymore. So sometimes we need to be cruel in order to be kind. We need to tell off the child or even punish them in a way they're going to remember before they're going to be able to learn about the real nature of the danger of an electricity socket. So some things with the roads of ruin, as I just mentioned, are rather like electrocution from electricity socket. We cannot afford to try it and decide for ourselves later, because they undermine our whole ability to make the decision in the first place. So when we come to self-development, yes, moderation is an interesting principle. It's a principle which can be applied to many things which are neither good nor bad, which we have in our lives. But as self-developers, we need to have the awareness there are some things which are much better than we can afford just to do in moderation. Also things which are so dangerous that we cannot afford to do them at all. They're not good in moderation, but in fact they are very dangerous even in moderation. So today, very briefly, we have taken a look at what we actually mean by moderation in the context of self-development. Next time, we're going to be looking a little bit more at the strategies for decision-making which we need to use so that we don't succumb to the action of the defilements in our minds when we come to trying to make fair decisions. So in the meantime, I'd like to encourage you, as usual, to keep up with your daily meditation and try to apply some of this knowledge about moderation in your everyday life as well. So all things being equal, I'll see you again next week.
Next on Buddhist culture, we shall learn how Thais cultivate their respect and generosity from the morning rise.
Only Lord Buddha, or the one on his behalf, deserves the very first spoon of the morning rice. It is when he can see the lines on his palm with the first daylight that a Buddhist monk who gets up earlier before the sun rises will begin his alms round. Preparation of alms food is also usually done before the sun rises, but some of these dishes and desserts can be prepared the evening before. But firstly and most importantly, all dishes must be fresh and allocated in a special container set aside for alms. Early that morning, foods that were cooked in the evening will be brought out to be warmed in the old Asian fashion. Going on the alms round. Sometimes a monk goes on his alms round alone, sometimes with company. Elderly monks need the company of a young man, one who is stronger and is able to help the monks on their rounds. Sometimes this is a young, clever boy who enjoys inquiry and never lets anything escape his sight.
It is now time for a meditation session with Venerable Somsak Silo. Let us now calm our minds and make ourselves ready for a fruitful meditation.
สวัสดี Hello everyone. It is very nice to meet again. This is session 4 of part 2. I believe everyone will enjoy the fruits of meditation because we make it by ourselves. And if you practice it often, regularly, you will enjoy inner peace somehow. Last time, again, just to make a brief review, we talked about before and after meditation. Before, we should instill the mind, calm down the mind. And after, we should not move our body and mind too abruptly right away from the end of meditation. In today's society, we have stress somehow. But before meditation, it is very hard to switch from the busy world. The mind is always busy. Right away to the stillness of the mind. So we need a little bridge to bridge the two worlds together. A simple technique which is available to all. Everyone will have soft music or instrumental one actually. Instrumental music is very nice because it contains no wordings. It is really soft and can soften your stress. So we prepare just before meditation. I would recommend again, this is another technique, that we listen to a soft instrumental music for a while and relax together with a kind of soft drink or just plain lukewarm glass of water. This is good enough. Let's try. Turn on soft music and then we let the mind flow with it. ท่านนี้ก็เปิดเพลงครับ And if the mind is softened and gentle enough, we can become a good meditation right now. So if you are ready, ladies and gentlemen, we just simply close the eyes. Let the beauty of clean music clean the whole you. Relax the whole body as before. Let the beauty of the music enter your mind. Allow the mind to be flowing, to be soft, and always gentle when we touch it. We can imagine we are in the middle of the forest, surrounded by all greens, small plants and big trees. Every breath that we take is made of fresh air, pollution-free. Every breath that we take goes really deep inside the body until we reach our familiar point. Remember, our favorite turning point. The turning point just for beginners. The turning point is the point where the in-breath has turned the out-breath. It is the far end of our deep breath. This is the station of peace, because every time the mind rests here, we gain inner peace. Peace could be collected over the station of peace. Let the beauty of the nature, let the embrace of the Mother Nature soothe the whole body and mind, the whole you. Stay peacefully, joyously within the embrace of the Mother Nature. Get soaked up, get wrapped up by the serenity of the nature. Until every single molecule of life is so fresh, so soft. The mind stays so still, right there. The mind stays so still over there. Enjoy a bright sphere form of the crystal ball that emerges at the center of the body. This is the original form, the formation of the mind. The mind has the form of a sphere. Therefore, a crystal ball appears at the center point. We recall the original form, sphere form of the mind. Always we shall not apply any force. Sometimes we try to make the shape so sharp. It is not necessary at all. As long as the mind rests peacefully, we may experience the crystal ball. Sometimes it keeps going, as well as keeps coming. Enjoy the appearance of the crystal ball. And sometimes when it is gone, enjoy the peacefulness when the mind dwells in the center. We always enjoy peace, inner peace, at the station of peace. Always relax, relax all the time. As every second, every minute passes by, we always relax. Enjoy the existence of the crystal ball at the center point. Enjoy being in the embrace of the nature. Enjoy your still mind that creates inner peace. It has become so certain, ladies and gentlemen, that peace could be created only from inside. That is why we'll call this inner peace. We can use our inner peace to create world peace by means of sharing. Peace can be shared very easily, starting from our station of peace. We just let the sphere form of the crystal ball grow bigger. Let the crystal ball grow bigger until it could cover our entire body. It will become even easier if we let the sphere expand limitlessly. So now we focus at the center, but the boundary of the sphere is limitless. It is beyond our vision to see the boundary of peace that we expand to share to the world. Let peace prevail inside our mind for a while before we finish this meditation session. And when the time is up, we slowly, delicately open up the eyes. Hope you enjoy your inner peace together with us. Practice often. You go to the station of peace often. It will be easier each time you go there. And once you get inner peace to yourself, don't forget to share inner peace to everyone around you. Until we meet next time, and hope you enjoy meditation even more and more when we meet next time. Have a good time. See you later.
Coming up next, Irene Peng from Singapore will share with us the story of her life, her recovery from her ailment, and her ability to overcome her obstacles. She will also tell us why a busy woman like her chooses to spend her vacation meditating, seeing that all else would be merely another form of work.
Sawadee ka. I'm Irene Peng. I'm from Singapore. I'm married with 3 boys. And here today to share my experience of my life in sharing and enjoying the work that I've been doing all this while. 10 years ago, I was very sick, and I understand Buddhism from there, and I've been praying and recover from my sickness from my prayer, if you believe it. And from there, I have this wish of sharing my joy inside me. And I got to know a French-Canadian monk who was based in Cambodia at that time. I've been traveling to Cambodia, started with a few children that he looked after, some orphans. And at that time, I was not doing business, and I just go there to help out. And when I saw the suffering of the poor in Cambodia, they have nothing. The remote villages that I go, they have no clothes, tattered clothes, no food, no water, no electricity. And at that time, it dawned on me that I had so much. And I realized that we take a lot of things for granted. Even the electricity, the water, the tap you turn on every day of your life. And I find this joy in able to share what I have with the poor. And it's really very, very little that I do over the 10 years. And I'm so glad this time I'm able also to share it in Thailand. Another realization is that people go for holiday, myself, my family, go to Japan, go Korea, everywhere. But that is not a holiday, there's a work in a different way. Of course, I have my children to look after, my husband, and to make them happy in a different way, but it's work to me. When I go for meditation, it's holidays for myself, for my soul, for my inner self. And this joy, I sometimes really feel that if I could just share this happiness, this joy with as many people as I can. I'm so glad today that I'm given this opportunity here, and I hope that I really, really can share with everybody who's looking at the program. And that's the reason I have been doing it, and I will continue to do it, I think, to the end of my life. Oh, my life has changed a lot. In fact, 10 years ago when I gave birth to my third son, it was in May 1995. That was also the year my father passed away, on the eve of my birthday in March 1995. And after I gave birth to my third boy, I was very sick. Anyway, my first, second, third child, every delivery after that during my confinement, I'm very, very sick. But it never dawned on me that it was my karma or whatever. Until my third boy, I started knowing just a chanting of a prayer. And I continued to chant, but somehow inside me, I just felt that I was paying my karma. I can't explain that. And as I prayed, in fact, I got very, very sick until a time where I got to know of a monk, and he prayed for me. In that 3 days, he went into meditation. I was very well. And after that, he explained to me that it was my karma to deal with children, and he said, what you have done in your past, you can't undo it, but you can only do what now for the future. If you hear of, you see anything to do with children, just from your heart. It's not so much the money, even if it's $1, a few cents, whatever you can afford, do it from your heart to help even one child. If more is better. And I remember what he said. But for me, it's not just children. I think everyone in the world, whether it's old people, children, we all started from a child anyway, all of us. So I would want to help and share my joy to as many people as I can. And I feel I'm very, very blessed, because not only have I recovered from my sickness after that, and then I started doing business. I come across a lot of obstacles as well, but somehow in the Dharma, as I go along, it just teaches me to be patient, to continue to radiate this loving kindness. And somehow things just sort of go from bad. Anything that is not so good will turn into something good. Not that I asked for, but just that I apply the Dharma in my life. Every time, in fact, if I meet some problem, may I use some people who angry me for something or some misunderstanding, I will apply the Dharma in my life. And in my 10 years, it always helped. And at times, as I'm very human, I can also make mistakes. And when I make mistakes or when I get angry, lost my temper, for example, when I realized that I was the one in the wrong. Then I try to correct it and apply the Dharma again. And then things will take a turn. The person I will go over and say, I'm sorry, I should not have done this. And somehow that person will feel that the relationship became better and not worse. And everything I do, I feel it must come from inside you. And Dharma is everywhere. It's not just in the prayer. It's in your everyday life, the way of your life. And really it changes my life. I don't ask for my business to be better, but because I felt that in my business, I employ a lot of people I could help all over the world, and I could give jobs to people and help as many families as possible. That is the kind of joy that I get. And I keep praying that every time I pray, I don't pray for like my business to prosper. I pray that in my business, if I could help as many people as possible, and in a way, it helps the business to grow and to prosper. And the money that I earn, the more I can do, the more I can help. And I also find time every year to do at least twice, if not 3 or 4 times retreat. This joy that I go for the retreat when I come back is something that I cannot use words to express. Really, I think everyone in your life must, every year in fact, find time to go for retreat. Find yourself, the inner you. That is a joy that you want to share, but sometimes it's very difficult. Only you can find yourself. Yeah, only you can find the joy yourself. So go and do the retreat yourself. Go and do the meditation yourself. So I really, really pray that everyone, regardless of religion, will go for retreat and find themselves. If you are able to find yourself, the inner you, you will be able to do what I have done in my 10 years. Sawadee-ka.
You will meet Rose Mipan next on Cut and Carve, a show full of activities to help improve your patience and mindfulness while enjoying the production of traditional Thai crafts. Rose will be showing you how to make ornamental garlands out of orchids, one of Thailand's most famous plants.
No matter which way my life turns, no matter easy or hard.
สวัสดีค่ะ Hi, I'm Rosalind Mipan and I will be your host on this show called Cut and Carve. Cut and Carve is a show that will be teaching you Thai traditional craft. For today, we have our guest and our teacher, Payawalak. สวัสดีค่ะ and Payawaled. สวัสดีค่ะ Also today, I have my little cousin Crystal to help us on the show.
สวัสดีค่ะ
For today, we're going to be making a garland just like on our previous show, out of orchids. For this one, you're going to be using the whole thing, so we won't be wasting anything.
เดี๋ยวป้าขอแนะนำอุปกรณ์อีกนิดหนึ่งนะคะ ก็จะมี1คือเข็มนะคะ
ค่ะ
2คือได้ายนะคะ3ก็คือกรรไกรแล้วก็4ก็คือที่ร้อยได้ายนะคะ
ค่ะ
แล้วก็เวลาเราร้อยได้ายอย่างนี้เราต้องใช้กรรไกรดึงเข็มนะคะแล้วก็ก้านมันสำปะหลังใช้เฉพาะกิ่งเขานะคะ
ค่ะ
แล้วก็ใบตองทำแป้นนะคะ
ค่ะ To go over our props again, I'm going to tell you what you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need string. There's 2 types, so there's the plastic and the regular string. There's the needle. There's the scissor, the clip, and the tapioca stem, and last but not least, the banana leaf. ค่ะ เชิญเลย
นี่เราจะเริ่มนะคะ
ค่ะ
เราจะร้อยลักษณะพวงมาลัยคืออย่างนี้นะคะป้าชูให้ดู
ค่ะ
นะคะมันจะเป็นสีสองสีนะคะ
ค่ะ
แต่วันนี้เห็นว่าคือทางท่านผู้ชมทางบ้านอาจจะมีใบไม้กันเยอะนะคะโดยเฉพาะต่างประเทศนะคะเราก็ใช้กล้วยไม้สีขาวแล้วก็ใบไม้สีเขียวนะคะอันนี้ก็ลักษณะการร้อยจะคล้ายๆอย่างนี้นะคะแต่จะต่างสีนะคะ
For today, we're going to be making something similar to this. First of all, we're going to be using orchid and leaves. It's going to be the same thing, but they're different colors. So, we're going to be making the circular one, semicircular, mini semicircular, and the dangling thing. อันนี้เรียกว่าอะไรนะคะ
อุบะ
Called uba.
ก็คือก่อนอื่นก็เริ่มจากกล้วยไม้นะคะ
ค่ะ
สีขาวเราจะวางคล้ายๆดอกมะลินี่แหละก็คือวาง8แต่เราวางทีละคู่ก็คือสีขาว2สีเขียว2รวมแล้ววาง4คู่
ค่ะ
4คู่แล้วเริ่มเลือกใบนะคะ ใบกล้วยไม้
เราครึ่ง
พับครึ่ง
พับครึ่ง
พับครึ่งเลยค่ะ
ค่ะ
พับครึ่งแล้วก็สอดเข็มร้อยเข้าไปปกติถ้าเกิดยาวนะคะ เราจะใช้กรรไกรตัด
แล้วก็ตัดเลย
ตัดให้ตรงเนี้ยไม่ให้มันเกินให้มันเท่าๆกันค่ะ
ค่ะ For this garland, we're going to be using the two colors, the white orchid leaf and the leaf, the green leaves. So, to do this, just like on our other show, we're going to be putting it in pairs. So, it's going to be 2 white, 2 green, 2 white, 2 green. So, total of 8. There's going to be 4 pairs and you switch it off.
พอเราใส่ซองแล้วใช่ไหมคะต่อไปเราจะใช้ใบแก้วสีเขียว ซึ่งตัดเป็นรูปมนคล้ายๆ ใบกล้วยไม้สีขาว ส่วนมนนะคะ
แล้วก็พับเหมือนกัน
ค่ะ
ใช่ไหม
พับครึ่งเหมือนกันเลย แล้วก็ร้อยเข้าไปค่ะ วางใบให้เสมอกันเป็นรูปวงกลมนะคะ
ค่ะ
เรียงให้ได้
When you put it in, fold it in half, like so. Put in the head, stick it right in, like so. When you do it, it should be a circular. So when you're finished with all 4 pairs, it should be a circular form.
ต่อไปก็กล้วยไม้ค่ะ วางคู่
ต้องใช้ใหญ่ๆใช่ไหมคะ
ค่ะ ให้ใบมันคล้ายๆกัน
คล้ายๆกับดอกแก้ว
คล้ายๆกับใบแก้ว
ใบแก้ว
ใบแก้วนี่คือส่วนมากจะแหลมๆอย่างนี้ใช่ไหมคะ เราก็จะตัดให้มันมนเหมือนกับใบกล้วยไม้
So, when you get the orchid petal and the leaf will be pointy, like this. So you cut up the leaf to be similar to the orchid petal. When you put it in, put the pointy side inward. Put the round side outward, like a taco. แล้วก็
ถ้าเราพอเสร็จปุ๊บเราก็จะตักเริ่มจากดอกไหนแล้วก็จะสับวางไปเรื่อยๆจะเยื้องสีกัน
แต่ว่าตอนเราทำนี่ต้องแปด
ให้ครบ8ค่ะ ไม่งั้นจะไม่เป็นเกลียวแบบนี้ค่ะ ต้องวางให้ก็ได้คู่กัน
So unlike the other one, for this one you have to use 8 the whole time. Using the same colors the whole way unless you're going to decorate it.
เลือกสวยๆ แล้วก็พยายามอย่าคือเวลาร้อยเข้าไปเนี่ยให้อยู่ข้างในลึกๆหน่อย เพราะถ้าปลายแล้วมันจะหลุด
When you put it in, petal or leaf, try to put it in sort of in. Because if you put it at the edge, it's going to rip the leaf.
พอแปดแล้ว
ให้เสมอกันนะลูกนะต่อไปเป็นชั้นที่2นะคะตอนนี้เราจะสับวางสับวางเยื้องสีนะคะ ก็คือแปะแล้วตอนนี้เราจะเริ่มที่สีขาววางสับวางลงไปเลยค่ะ
For the next level, when you put it in between. ส สับวางใช่ไหมคะ
สีขาวลูก
นี้
สีขาวครบแล้วก็ต่อด้วยใบแก้ว อีกคู่หนึ่งสับวางไปเรื่อยๆจนครบวงนะคะครบวงก็คล้ายๆร้อยดอกมะลินี่แหละแต่ว่าเราเปลี่ยนจากดอกมะลิเป็นใบไม้
แล้วก็คอยดูสีของใบแก้วกับสีขาวว่าให้มันเยื้องกันนะคะเราจะทำอย่างนี้นะคะเดี๋ยวแล้วนะเราจะทำอย่างนี้ไปเรื่อยๆนะคะสับวางไปเรื่อยๆแล้วก็จะได้รูปแบบนี้
When you're going through it should come out like this sort of like stairs for each color there's a different stair อย่างนี้ค่ะ
อันนี้ก็คือตัวมาลัยกลมนะคะแต่เมื่อเราทำก็จะเป็นในตัวนี้นะคะมาลัยกลมก็คือตัวนี้นะคะ
เมื่อเรารู้เรื่องการร้อยมาลัยแบบนี้แล้วนะคะเป็นเกลียวคืออันนี้นะคะจะเป็นคล้ายๆกันอย่างนี้ต่อไปเราจะทำซีกทำซีกเป็นสีขาวนะคะซีกเป็นสีขาวใช้กล้วยไม้ค่ะกล้วยไม้สีขาวใบก็คือจะใบแบบนี้นะใบเล็กกว่า
ไม่ใช่ใบใหญ่อย่างนี้
ค่ะไม่ใช่ใบใหญ่จะไปใบเล็กลงมาก็คือเนี่ยคือถ้าเป็นสีขาวนะคะก็คือเอาตรงนี้ค่ะนะตรงนี้ของเขา
ใบเล็ก
ใบเล็กก็คือใส่แป้นไปแล้วก็เรียงกล้วยไม้สีขาว3ค่ะมาวาง
3แล้วก็2แล้วก็
ค่ะสับวางนะคะชั้นที่2ก็สับวาง2ชิ้นได้3แล้ววาง3นะคะ
ค่ะ For this one we're doing the semicircle just like the other one we're gonna put it through 3 2 3 2 3 2
ค่ะชั้นที่2ต่อไปนะคะ
ค่ะ
ก็วางสับวาง
2 Put it in between for the next one
ก็3 2 3 2สับวางไปจนถึงประมาณครึ่ง
หนึ่ง
ค่ะประมาณครึ่งไม้เข็มร้อยเนี่ยค่ะ
You're gonna keep on doing 3 2 3 2 3 2 until you get halfway through the needle
แล้วถ้าร้อยไปเรื่อยๆก็จะเป็นรูปแบบนี้
ค่ะ
นะคะ
When you're finished the finished piece would be like this As you can see it switches off 3 2 3 2 3 2 and so on
No matter easy or hard I will hold
That concludes this edition of Meditation for All. We hope that at this point you have begun to develop some ideas on how to apply the benefits of meditation to improving yourself. Let us know your progress. Your comments and questions are also welcome. Please send them to our email address at meditationforall@yahoo.com. Goodbye for now. สวัสดีค่ะ